earlier, I was feeling very emotional. For whatever reason, I looked at the Wikipedia article for Santa Claus, and I suddenly felt very happy. I've chosen that, being an individual of at least 400 years of age, I have chosen that at this point in my life, I have chosen to believe in Santa Claus. Santa deniers are going to seethe and cry, but let me ask you this. What, do you think that those cookies just erode? Does the milk evaporate overnight? Where do all those presents come from? I don't know. How do you say he doesn't exist when it says on the present, from Santa? Huh? I've chosen to believe in Santa Claus, and I think the world benefits from having such a big, jolly red man like myself. Although, where I am a symbol of horror and death, Santa Claus is a symbol of capitalism. Do you ever think about that? There is nothing stopping you from, as a grown adult, believing in Santa Claus. Apart from your own cynicism. You can be as whimsical and as peaceful-minded as a child. If all you do, you just have to believe in Santa Claus. And you can choose to do that. Doesn't Santa have a wife, though? Where does that come into play? What, are you trying to fuck Santa? You trying to move in on Santa? What's wrong with you? That man, that is a loyal man. That man is loyal to Mrs. Claus. Santa Claus is a devoted husband. The spirit of monogamy is alive and well in the relationship and the marriage between Mr. and Mrs. Claus. Thank you very much. I will not be having any slander towards the sanctity of their relationship. Oh yeah, that song. I saw your mum kissing Santa Claus or something like that. Well, you'd bet, and that's a lie. That is a lie. The only person Santa Claus is kissing is his wife under the mistletoe. If you approach Santa under the mistletoe, he will probably give you a gleeful little smile and say, Oh, I couldn't. Mrs. Claus will be expecting me home before 8 p.m., but I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. And then he would walk away because he has never, for a second, thought about anyone in any kind of romantic context other than his wife. And you are sick for thinking that Santa Claus would even be for a moment tempted by someone other than his wife. Isn't he No! The real Santa Claus is not a raunchy mall Santa. If you met a Santa Claus who was a pervert at the mall, that's not the real Santa Claus. That is a man in a costume who is besmirching the good name of old Saint Nick. He doesn't even spend Christmas with her. Listen, he goes out on Christmas Eve. He goes out overnight on Christmas Eve. Of course he spends Christmas with Mrs. Claus. He gets back first thing in the morning. He goes out at night on Christmas Eve, kisses her goodbye, and comes back before the sun rises, and they spend Christmas together. What part of that doesn't work in your tiny, tiny mind? I will not have slander towards the good name of Santa Claus on this stream. I'm gonna make another amendment to my fucking rules. No bad-mouthing Santa Claus ever, or I will shit your pants. Piece of shit. I will defend Santa Claus until the day I die. Left his wife alone in bed while he's out at midnight. One night of the year, guys! One night of the year while he does the most important part of his job. One night of the year! He spends one night and is back bright and fucking early the next day to spend the whole day with her. He is working nights to support his marriage and to bring joy across the whole world. He is given a very, very holy, righteous charge to deliver presents and cheer across the whole world. And here you are thinking that it's somehow some great stain on his marriage that he spends one night a year away from Mrs. Claus before spending the entire next day with her, and probably the entire previous one too. How do I know? Because I know how this works, okay? Have you not seen this guy? There's no way. There is... What do you think Santa Claus does on Christmas, huh? On Christmas Eve, he does an incredibly stressful job, okay? On Christmas Eve, he does an insanely stressful job by traveling around, need I say, the entire world and dropping presents into the chimneys of every single boy and girl on the nice list It's a very, very difficult job. And Mrs. Claus knows this. And she is supportive of Santa. She is supportive of her husband and wants him to do a good job at what he is passionate about. But what does he do after that? By Christmas morning, he has delivered all the presents. He has no work to do aside from prepare for next year, which I can't imagine he does on Christmas, and so it makes perfect sense that he would spend the happiest day of the year, Christmas Day, with his fucking wife! I will not have this fucking slander against Santa Claus in my chat, and I'm ashamed! I'm ashamed that you think that there is anything wrong with their marriage. Can I just get an honest show of hands? How many people besmirching his marriage are married themselves? I'm gonna guess the crossover is quite low. Are you taking out your internal bias against men on fucking Santa Claus? There are plenty of reasons to be upset at men. Santa Claus is not fucking one of them. That is a glowing example of a good man and a good husband. That guy is not gonna text you back if you keep besmirching Santa Claus's good name, and I will say the word besmirch a 75th fucking time today if I need to. I don't give a fuck. I will defend that man with my last dying breath. I will not allow any Santa Claus slander on this stream. Not ever. I have literally yet to see a single... I have seen maybe 1 or 2 raised hands. You people are pathetic. You people are fucking pathetic. How dare you speak on a good man's marriage without any experience of your own to back up those claims? Yes, you don't have to be in a relationship or a marriage to comment on someone else's. But come the fuck on! It's Santa Claus, for God's sake. Just look at him. Have you ever seen that man not smile? He's clearly a man in an unhappy, uneven marriage. Would not be that happy all the time. How do you know I'm not Mrs. Claus? How do you know Santa Claus doesn't come home to me every single Christmas? How do you know that? How do you think I know him so well? How do you know? I might be Mrs. Claus. Maybe I end stream and I put on a dainty little red apron. You know, my little Christmas hat. And I wait for my darling husband, Santa Claus, to come home from the toy factory. And he comes in, and he gives me a kiss on the cheek, and he says, I missed you today while I was at work. And I say, oh, Santa, darling, it's all right. It's all right. I'm glad you're working hard for all the good boys and girls this year. And then we relax, and we cuddle on the couch, and I fucking died again. He breaks into people's homes to deliver presents. This is like Santa Claus breaking into a person's house is like if someone tried to swat Britney Spears. The cops get a call of something crazy going on and they're like, "Oh, better go to this house." And then they look at the address book and they're like, "Wait, that's Britney Spears' house. Nothing's going on at Britney Spears' house. That's Britney Spears' house. It's fine." And they don't go to Britney Spears' house because common sense determines that Britney Spears is probably not going to do anything like that. It's the same thing with Santa Claus. If a person woke up in the middle of the night and called the police to say, "There's a man in my home," the police show up and they see Santa Claus there, they would turn to the person and say, "Why did you call us? This is Santa. Santa broke into your home, yes, but to deliver presents and Christmas cheer? What are you calling the police for? You're not in any danger. That's Santa Claus." Unbelievable. Unbelievable that you would even make that comparison. How do they know if it's the real one? They know. They know. Is a real home invader going to park a fucking magic sleigh on your roof? You dumb twat. How many actual home invaders can afford an actual magic flying sleigh with a host of reindeer, you fucking idiot? Why don't you try and fucking think for half a fucking second? If a home invader dressed like Santa Claus and busted the door down, sure, the police would take notice. They would be like, is that the real Santa? They'd look on the roof. Ah, yes, no. The sleigh is there to confirm it. Ah, yes, no. Most people, I don't think anyone apart from Santa has a magic flying sleigh. You fucking idiot. I am Mrs. Claus. I am in a parasocial relationship with Santa Claus. He loves me. I have a Santa Claus Stan account on Twitter. And if anyone says anything negative about him, I will be harassing them nonstop. If Santa Claus isn't real, then where did this bite in my cookie come from, girlie? So fucking sick and tired of this. So fucking sick and tired of this attitude towards such a wonderful man. How dare you? How absolutely dare you, sir? Ah! Santa, what happened? I fell down a hole. I fell down a hole.